welcome back to another episode of Real Stories. Today we got Sean Penhale from Spectre Financial, president. I'm Jordan Silvester, your host. How's it going, Sean?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. So, as per usual, we just kind of jump in, and what's your story?
Yeah, my story. Yeah, so I born and raised in Alberta.
Okay.
Pretty, say middle average Canadian family. I got two older sisters, some parents. Grew up in Red Deer. Very athletic family. So, needless to say, both my sisters and myself, we really got involved in sports early on.
Okay.
Lots of volleyball, soccer, swimming. Swimming was my sport that I chose. I guess I was 12 years old when I chose it to be my main sport. I loved playing volleyball. It's like my family sport. My parents were high into it, and referee, and I referee as well. But I hated other people's mistakes making me lose, so I chose the individual sport route. But yeah, I had a really great career. Basically swam summer club from the age of 6 through 12, and then swam all year round from 12 through 26. Wow. Spent 10 years on the Canadian national team, had a full ride scholarship to the United States. I went to the University of Western Kentucky. Came back for a few more years after college, finished off my career. And then I got involved in financial services, kind of just a weird happenstance of kind of how I got involved. But it's been a absolutely fun career, lots of ups and downs, as I think anything is. But yeah, I've pretty much only done two things, swimming my entire life, and then financial services. Moved here to Windsor in October of 2017.
Okay.
So I've been here for 8 years now.
Nice.
Yeah, married a couple of years ago. Got a new little baby boy at home.
Yes.
He's going to be 7 months shortly. But yeah, that's kind of a small nutshell of, grew up in Alberta, moved here just through a sort of a series of things that happened. And I know sports and I know finance. So
there you go, man. That's awesome. Yeah. When you talk about, so your whole family's into sports.
Yeah.
So you chose to go the swimming route basically because you're like, I don't like when other people have an impact on my performance.
Yeah.
And so what did your other siblings decide to do?
So my sisters are twins.
Okay.
We have a really funny joke in our family that my sisters are identical twins. So they split my parents' athletic genes, whereas I got all of them. I don't know how true that is. We've just kind of used it sort of as a joke. My sisters are really good at sports.
Right.
I don't know how much they play anymore. Their kids are now involved in sports. But if you made my sisters play like doubles badminton, they were so good. The whole twin knowing each other and where you were, they were amazing.
Right.
Once you got them into an individual sport, it was just a little different. They were still athletic, but it just wasn't as, I guess, as similar as putting them together on a team.
Right.
And then I chose swimming. Volleyball's huge in our family, so I grew up playing volleyball. My parents still played co-ed volleyball when I was a kid.
Yep.
So my sisters and I would go, in the hallway or the gym or the other side of the gym, and we would just pepper and play volleyball with each other. So we got really good at a young age, and then when I got into middle school and high school, like kids are just learning and just being introduced to volleyball, and I'm already jump serving balls and spin serving balls and like just all the extra stuff that I've been doing for 5 or 6 years.
Wow.
And so my first team I ever played on was a grade 9 travel team. So the kids were 14, I guess, give or take. And I was 10.
Oh, wow.
And I was super short compared to all the other kids, but I could pass a ball and I could set a ball. And so, and then when I got into high school, I just, I couldn't take other kids' mistakes making me lose at the time. No one had really taught me the benefit of being on a team and being a team player and all that kind of stuff, which I learned later on in my career of swimming, actually. But we were just involved in everything.
That's awesome. Yeah, you mentioned something pretty insane, which is that you swam for the national team.
Yeah.
That's quite the event. And so so how old were you when you decided swimming at 12? Was like the primary or?
Yeah, so I got started at 6. We basically would go out to Sylvan Lake every other weekend in the summer times.
Okay.
And when it was time to leave, my parents would start packing up, and I would swim out to the buoys, and I would just like hang out there until my parents came to get me. And they were like, okay, this kid obviously enjoys the water, so let's put him in swimming lessons.
Yep.
So I progressed pretty fast through swimming lessons and all that stuff, and then I just got involved in the summer swim program. I watched. So the story goes, I was 7 years old watching the Olympics in '96 in Atlanta, and I watched Donovan Bailey win his gold medal, and just seeing his reaction and how excited Canada was that we had a runner win the 100-meter dash and all that stuff. That I decided at that point in time at 7 years old that I wanted to pursue trying to be an Olympian.
Wow.
And swimming was the thing that I was really good at. I was already winning medals and provincial medals and stuff like that at a young age. So every year I would basically say, Mom and Dad, I want to swim full time. I want to swim full time. And they're like, you're 8, you're 9. You don't get to make those decisions yet.
Right.
But it happened for 4 or 5 years in a row.
Wow.
So when I was 12, I was like, guys, like this is what I want to do. I'm really good at it. I like it. I enjoy it. This is what I want to do. And so we sat down as a family and basically said, how are we going to make this happen? I was actually I grew up in a town called Lacombe, which was about 20 minutes north of Red Deer.
Yep.
And in order to swim full time, I had to change schools. So I changed schools in grade 8. We drove every day to Red Deer. My parents worked in Red Deer, so that wasn't a big deal. But I changed schools, changed friends, changed my entire life to swim. And I started swimming full time when I was 12 years old.
Wow.
And basically 10 months of the year, all the time. Typically at that age, it was 9 times a week, every morning, Monday, Wednesday, Friday afternoons, and Saturday mornings. And then it got to a point where I was swimming 11, 12 times a week, plus dry land, plus you name it.
Yeah. Well, again, so what stage? So you wanted to be an Olympian, and then you actually got to the national team. Did you make it to the Olympics?
No, that's the one thing I didn't.
Okay.
So I did everything else: Pan Americans, Junior Pan Pacific Games, Commonwealth Games, Olympics, and World Championships were the 2 competitions that I never qualified for.
Okay.
Swimming is it's a time standard thing,
Yep.
and I never made it. I don't know if it was just never in the cards for me or whatnot. I could get into the psyche of all that kind of stuff and what's gone in my head in the last 10 years in my retirement, but I won't. I don't know if we'll go there yet.
Gotcha.
But
Fair
yeah,
enough.
I just it was something I always pursued. I probably swam for probably 2 years longer than I should have.
Okay.
I probably should have retired earlier, but I just didn't want to quit.
Right. You weren't ready to give up yet.
Yeah, it's a story.
That might not be the right term, but.
Well, yeah, I mean, quit. Yeah, I was just done. It's a story I tell sort of. I remember I was like 7 or 8 years old, playing Monopoly in my front room with my sisters. My sisters were beating me like badly. And my dad happened to come home, I don't know, a few minutes before.
Yep.
And I was just like, I'm quitting. Like, this sucks. I hate losing. And he happened to come home when I was going through this little temper tantrum I was going through. And he's like, listen, like, just because you're losing doesn't mean you quit.
Right.
You can learn some lessons, you can, change course, you can do these things, but you don't just quit. You don't just give up.
Right.
And so that's just lesson kind of stuck with me for a very, very long time. So as I got near the end of my career for swimming, I think I probably wanted to quit and wanted to be done. I was kind of spinning the wheels a little bit. But I just didn't want to quit, probably just from that lesson. I just wasn't really ready to hang up the suit yet.
Yep.
And then it just kind of happened. So
that's amazing. So all of your high school, once you got into high school, it was all swimming. College, all swimming. And you said, so you went to the States to swim?
Yeah, I took a full ride scholarship to the University of Western Kentucky.
Okay.
There was actually 4 or 5 other Canadians that I had grown up with swimming that I knew that had gone down there at the same time.
Right.
I spent 4 years in Bowling Green, Kentucky as a hilltopper. Had a really great time. That's where I learned how to be a team player.
Okay.
And but you can't stay down there forever.
Right.
You can be on a student visa, and then, you got to kind of go do the whole work visa thing. And in my 4th year of university, I was planning to go back for my 9th semester to finish my degree.
Right.
I took a degree in business marketing. And that summer between my 4th year and my 9th semester is when I qualified for Commonwealth Games.
Oh, okay.
So we had 10 days in Singapore for like a staging camp, get acclimatized to the time zone, et cetera. And then 10 days in India, in Delhi, for the competition. But when I found out I made the team, I basically messaged the 3 or 4 professors that I was going back to finish the degree. And 3 of the 4 of them basically said if I went on that trip, they'd basically fail me for missing too much school. So I just withdrew from my classes and I just never went back.
You just never. So you didn't finish the degree.
Never finished my degree.
Okay.
I tried about 18 months later, maybe 2.5 years later. I was back in Calgary, still swimming. And my coach at the time convinced me that I should try and finish.
Right.
So I got all my transcripts and got everything ready, and I took some courses at Mount Royal University. I forget if it was a college or not at the time. But the 4 courses that I had to take turned into 7 because of what came over and what didn't come over.
Gotcha.
And when I finished 3 or 4 of those, I had 3 or 4 more. And just as I was going back to finish those 3 or 4, the university notified me that a few more courses had fallen off. And so what was 3 turned into 5. And I was like, this is just every year I'm going to have to do a few more courses. So I just didn't even bother.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So when you look at that as at the stage of life, so again, you're a young guy, you're looking at that as the decision point. Like swimming was number 1 though. So for you, I don't think there's any regret in going to the Commonwealth Games.
No, absolutely not. I actually don't really have truly any regrets, to be honest.
Awesome.
I'm a big believer in you can't connect the dots forward, but you can always look backwards and connect the dots. And so you just kind of have to have this blind faith that, things are going to kind of work out. There's going to be ups and downs, and those things are going to teach you lessons along the way.
Right.
Whether it's injuries or, stuff that have happened in the past, there's nothing I regret because those things all taught me lessons of, who I am today. And so I don't really have any regrets. Would it have been cool to finish my degree? Sure. It's a piece of paper.
Yep.
I think too many people nowadays in a career path, they care more about a degree than who the person is.
Right.
And unfortunately, in my opinion, a degree just shows that for a few years in time, you can focus, read out of a textbook, you can answer the questions the way that a teacher wants you to answer questions, but it doesn't teach you any life practical skills.
Right.
I had one teacher who was a course we took called personal selling.
Okay.
Which was a really unique course to me. I grew up with my dad always being in sales. Okay. And I hated it because he was constantly talking to people, constantly starting conversations with people. And as a kid and as a young adult, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what he was doing. Right. But he was building his network. He was just, keeping the pipeline full, letting people know what he's doing. Because if they don't know what you do, they can't buy from you, right? Yep, so they have to know what you do. And so, I took this personal selling course, and it was the teacher basically said, he has been a salesperson before. He had run a sales team before. And he made a statement that even in like most business courses in colleges and universities, teachers are teaching you the theoretical component of running a business, but none of them have actually ever run a business. And so I started to be like, why am I taking lessons from someone reading me a technical, sort of theory about how to run a business from someone who's never run a business before? Yeah. It didn't make a lot of sense to me, right? And so, and I was very accustomed to, my coaches had trained Olympians before. So it made sense for me to be coached by someone who taught somebody how to get where I wanted to go. Right. So why would I take lessons from somebody who's never run a business before on how to run a business? So my personal selling teacher was really great. His name was Chris Derry. I still kind of I'm in contact with him a little bit through LinkedIn every now and then, just to say hi and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was just a really kind of eye-opening experience. But yeah, I don't really have any regrets.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, when I think about school, the value in school to me is yes, you learn problem solving skills. And so depending on, some people learn actual, like their head knowledge, meaning that they actually retain a bunch of knowledge when they leave school. But most of us that I experience don't, unless they really love something, then they learn it, but they just maintain that knowledge because they maintain their interest in it. So they follow it up. So often in life, it's like, again, do you want someone who can memorize for a minute, or do you want somebody who can communicate and problem solve?
Right.
Absolutely. And I tell my kids that all the time. I'm like, yeah, if you learn these skills, you win the game of life. I said, because you're either going to need to know how to do it yourself or know who else can do it. Right. That's all it is.
Finding the solution, right? Find the answer. So yeah, it's, it was one of those things where I just, I really didn't like just learning for the sake of learning. And there's no better way to learn than to get on the job, do hands-on training, actually know what it's like to do something, right? Unless you're a lawyer or a doctor or an engineer or like something specific where there's like a set thing that needs to be learned, you have to learn about the body. You have to learn how these things operate. You have to learn structures and weights and all that stuff. And even that, there's a compound of engineering that you could learn if you wanted to, make a building collapse and then figure out why it collapsed and fix it again. Right. But why do that when you can just learn from someone who's already done it, right? So there's certain career paths that definitely make sense. They just weren't for me. I actually wanted to go to school to be, I wanted to take a degree in biochemistry to be a doctor. I think most athletes want to be a chiro, a physio, a doctor, like help athletes.
Right.
But it just wasn't in the cards for me. So it was too much school and not enough swimming. So I kind of slowly changed degrees. So
So when you retired from it, what did you do after retirement? So what was the plan there?
Yeah. So I retired from swimming when I was 25.
Okay.
I had already been involved in financial services for about 4.5 years.
Okay.
So when I moved back to Calgary, I was living with my uncle, who was a contract floor layer. And he basically gave me a job to help him, do renovations. Carpet, tile, lino, hardwood, whatever. I was kind of his grunt. Take things to and from the van. He's the knowledgeable guy, but he needed a hand. So I would basically finish swimming in the morning, call him. He'd tell me the address he was going to. I'd meet him there. I'd work for 4 or 5 hours if I could. And then I'd go back to the pool. Nobody would hire me for 3 or 4 hours in the middle of the day and 3 or 4 hours at nighttime.
Right.
So it was very hard for me to find a job because my schedule just always changed. Right. So it was very difficult for me. And so we were at a job one day fixing the basement of a gentleman whose foundation had cracked. So we were replacing all the carpet and everything that got, there was a heavy rainfall in Calgary at the time. And he was training somebody, financial services, from his kitchen table because he had contractors in his house.
Right.
And it was just really funny. So all 3 of us were named Sean at the time. It was a super weird coincidence. So one Sean was at the kitchen table. The other one went upstairs to get something, and I was downstairs. And the gentleman at the kitchen table said, "Hey, Sean, can you come here?"
Right.
So Sean came downstairs, and I came upstairs, and they were like, What do you need?"
Right.
And I was like, "Well, you called my name." And they were like, "Your name's Sean too?" And I was like, "That's really weird." So there was 3 of us. So, but when I was going from the van to downstairs and helping my uncle, I just kind of understood what they were talking about. Money was always a topic. I always wanted to learn how to manage money and how to be better with my money because my parents, never had any education. No one ever taught them anything.
Right.
So, and I made some stupid mistakes when I was on the national team, getting a credit card, traveling the world, not having a steady job per se. I was carded at the time, so I was making money swimming. That was my job. It wasn't a lot, but it paid for my credit card bill.
Right.
And then I got hurt and I lost my funding. And then I had this credit card bill that I had to pay for that I didn't have money to pay for. So I learned a valuable lesson early on about debt and not being able to pay for things. So when I was at the kitchen table, going from downstairs to upstairs, I just understood what they were talking about: managing debt, growing money, stuff like that.
Yep.
So when we finished the job, before I went back to the pool, I actually went back inside and I said, "Hey, like, this is who I am. This is what I do. Can you take me for coffee and tell me what you do?"
Right.
And so he invited me out to sort of an information session. It was a multi-level marketing company that teaches financial services.
Yep.
I'm not very good with, at the time, I wasn't really interested in going to, an evening presentation and sitting with a bunch of people, and it just wasn't for me.
Right. Yep. Fair
So
enough.
I actually told him I would go, and then I didn't. And then he called me the next day saying, "Hey, sorry, I missed you, whatever. Can we do coffee?" And I was like, "Absolutely, we can do coffee." That's
Right.
what I wanted to do in the first place.
Yep.
So we went to Starbucks. We said it would be about 30 minutes or an hour or so. Ended up being about 3. We just really dived into money and the banking system and how things operate and how to learn and how compound interest works and debt, and like, it's just a lot of information.
Right.
But it was very practical to me.
Yep.
And I was very fortunate that my parents actually talked about money growing up, about, what bills they had to pay and could we afford this or could we afford that or all that kind of
Right.
stuff. So I basically said to him, if this was a family that had this, what could you do for them? And he was like, if all this is true and this was the real situation, he's like, I could probably free up like $900 a month. And I was like,
Wow.
oh, okay. That's $900 a month is amazing.
Yeah.
$11,000 give or take a year. And if you compound that for the next 15 years, 20
Yeah.
years before someone's retirement, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
So
agree.
I said, well, if this is true, and he assured me that it was, I was like, I'll start learning from you tomorrow.
Wow.
So I got started with the company. And I was very fortunate that I got started with the company because I was 21 years old, 22 years old.
Yep.
I knew nothing about money. I wanted to learn, but nobody would give me a chance. If you want to get started with, and I hate name dropping, but you want to get started with anybody at the time. So this is 2011, give or take.
Yep.
If you want to get started with anybody, Sun Life, Canada Life, Manulife, a bank, you have to be willing to commit 8 hours a day, every day,
Right.
cold call, door knock. And I was willing to do the cold calls and the door knocking. I didn't have 8 hours a day.
Right.
I had
You're still
3
swimming.
in the middle of my day. I was still swimming.
Yeah.
Right. And at the time we didn't have programs like they have now where, institutions like, for example, RBC, they partnered with Olympics Canada to Sport Canada to start to support some of the athletes and stuff like that. Like, we didn't have any of that. Right. So they weren't willing to, when I was there, they weren't really willing to like work with the athletes around a schedule to teach them. So I was very fortunate that this company gave me a chance. I got to learn about money. I got to learn how things work. I got to learn the systems. I got to learn about mindset and entrepreneurial work and all that kind of stuff.
Awesome.
And when I retired, I just basically went full time. I wasn't doing anything else. I had a bit of a depression period after my retirement from swimming. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I liked finance, but the only thing I ever knew was gone.
Right.
So yeah, I just kind of went full time, and it took me a while to kind of get out of my depression. Luckily, I had a mentor that kind of helped me with it. But yeah, that's kind of I just basically went from swimming to financial services
And dropped right in. And so again, now you're still in Calgary at this time, though.
Yeah.
And then, so this is 2011. You're 21. 4 years later, you retired, or 5? What year did you retire?
I retired in
from
2015.
2015. Okay.
I
So then
wanna
2
say-
years later, 2 or 3 years later, you moved to Windsor.
Yeah.
What brought that about?
Yeah. So I was living with my uncle in Calgary.
Yeah.
And we were working away. But my uncle ended up committing suicide.
Oh.
And I was one who found him. So I was kind of in this depression period. I liked finance. I was learning, but I wasn't 100% sure that financial services was what I wanted. I knew that sales was what I wanted.
Right.
So sort of full circle moment, going back to my personal selling teacher. Chris Derry told us one class, he said, what most people do is they take something they love doing and they find a career in that field. And once you tie an income and a lifestyle to that thing you love, it no longer becomes something you love. It becomes something you have to do to make money, which isn't true for everyone.
Sure.
But a lot of people do it,
I
right?
can see that.
And he said what most people should actually do, and he challenged us all to do it, is to think about what you want your life to look like and then find a career that will give you that thing and keep the things you love, the things you love. I love sports. I love watching sports. I love playing sports. I love being involved in sports. But when I thought about it, I didn't want to be a coach. I didn't want to, do something like that. I didn't want to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go to the pool and teach kids how to swim with. Most kids don't want to actually truly be there to swim. Right. They're in a program and their kids force them, or like I've seen it all. Not saying it's bad.
No, I understand.
But kids need to learn and all that kind of stuff, and sports helps that. But there's a lot of kids that go to their sports practices because their parents want them to be this Olympian or this NHL player that they're never going to be.
I understand
so
very well.
I was like, okay, well, so in university, I was like, okay, well, if that's true, I want to have control of my time. Because my father never did. And so my father was never around my swimming most of the time because he was always working to support it. I wanted to be able to dress up nicely if I wanted to, because I do like getting dressed up. And I wanted to have a control of income. So I didn't want someone telling me what my time was worth. So obviously sales, that makes sense. But the question then becomes well, what are you going to sell? There's so many things you could sell. What are you going to sell? Cars, financial services, air duct clean. Like, what are you going to do? So I went through my depression. I decided that maybe financial services wasn't for me. I wanted to try something else. My father ended his sales career at Sleep Country. So in Calgary, the year before I moved here, I got a job in sales at a Sleep Country store. Really just to get experience on doing something else besides financial services or swimming. I had no life experience. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had the odd job at Canadian Tire stocking shelves and stuff like that on the weekends, but like it wasn't anything career-wise for me. So I learned very quickly that type of sales at Sleep Country was not the type that I wanted to be involved in. I wanted to be involved in truly helping people, truly making a difference. I understand that someone getting a good night's sleep is great, but it just wasn't for me. Especially how their sales process happens. And I just, I won't get into that, but I just realized it wasn't for me. So I'm at Sleep Country. I've been there for 7 or so months. And then my uncle takes his life. And I basically said, okay, I'm just going to save up as much money as I can in the next 3 months. The gentleman who taught me, one of the Seans, had actually already moved here. So he moved here, I want to say in mid-2015 maybe. And so we were already having conversations about, man, like you should come out here, come to Windsor, help me grow a company, help me grow the office. There's a good market here. There's not an office for the company that we were with out there. So we would have been the only ones. And I started considering it. And then when my uncle took his life, I was like, you know what? It's probably time for a change. It's probably time
change
for
of scenery.
Change of scenery, restart, start fresh. I still have, unfortunately, when I go to Calgary, it's not the best of circumstances. It brings back lots of stuff. So it's not where I wanted to be long term after something like that happened. It's just So then I literally packed up my life and drove my car here and started work the next day when I got here.
Wow. And when I think about like kids and like you're talking about coaching and going into those things. So I coached hockey, but for fun because it was for my kids. Got a bit too involved a few years because I was coaching my daughter and my son's team plus travel because my son made the travel. It was a whole thing when he was about 8-9 years old because that's when everything turns on. But that's when you meet the parents who think their kids are going to the NHL. Again, reality is all of our kids, the best you probably can hope for is a scholarship, which you were able to do and go and play in the States. And that's all I ever really wanted for my son. I always said if I could pair my daughter's ambition with my son's talent, because my daughter has the tenacity and for him, he has ambition in other arenas. So I just want to be clear. It's not that he doesn't. It's just, again, that wasn't his thing. So when I sit around and like you're chatting there, it reminisces to don't get involved in like what you love. Don't make that the way you earn a living, but to find what you want your life to look like and model that. My life is built around real estate, right? So for me, again, very much the freedom of time. I very much like it. The risk in my world, just like yours, is when you work for yourself, you work crazy hours, you work all the time. Even though you think you'll have this free time, it doesn't always work out so well.
Yeah, I mean, typically what happens is in the beginning is you buy yourself a job, right? You're now getting paid for 40 hours a week, if that, but you're working 60 or 70 or 80 hours a week because you have to do everything. And you have to be able to slowly sort of transition it to a place where the business can sustain itself even if you're not there.
Right.
Financial services is a very unique industry because we get compensated like a trail fee. So every month we get paid as long as our clients are happy and they stay with us. We get a small percentage, and the bigger your client book, the more you get paid. But it takes time to get there, right? And so, yeah, it's just it's been really great. So now, you know, I have control of time for the things that are very important to me. You know, it doesn't mean that I just get to stay at home and sit on the couch and do nothing all day.
Correct.
I'm still at the office. My business partner, Jason, and I are still working, you know, 12 and 14-hour days because we want this thing to be bigger. And we have a new exciting sort of thing I can maybe touch on probably, but
when did you launch Spectre?
March of 2022. So it's been 3.5 years.
Okay, awesome.
So yeah, I've been in the financial services world for 15 years now. And Jason has been involved in the property casualty, so home insurance, car insurance, commercial insurance, liability insurance, et cetera, what we call property casualty. He's been doing it for 23 years.
Okay. It's quite a bit of experience between both of you.
Yeah. So we met pre-COVID, started having lots of conversations on the golf course during COVID about running a business together. And he was originally just going to help me buy an advisor's book of business and kind of help me grow it. And then it just turned into a thing where we got into business together and started a company together. And we had this vision of being able to put a fence around our clients so we can help them with their mortgages, their lending, lines of credit, as well as their life insurance, their critical illness, their disability, their group benefits, their investments, RSPs, TFSAs, pensions, everything. And we had the idea of adding on the home and auto insurance at some point in time, which Spectre Insurance will be launching January 2nd, most likely.
Awesome.
We're in the process of just getting everything finalized, but he's no longer at the company that he was working for. And so now we're taking it upon ourselves to be able to help our clients with the home and auto insurance side of things. So we're going to be busy probably for the next 5 years.
As you keep building.
As we keep building. He has this sort of uncanny ability to just, he has no belief lid. He has no, nothing stops him, which is what I love about him, is if it can be done, he will find a way to do it. And he always has these great, big, giant ideas, and sometimes they might be 10-year out ideas, but they're there, and we're building towards them. And so, yeah, it's going to be a big process, but we're really excited about it.
Yeah, where there's a will, there's a way.
100%.
Yeah, that's again, I get accused of sometimes dreaming a little bit psychotically, and I understand some of my ideas are bad. but if you have a bunch, then some of them are good.
100%.
The issue for what I find so often is people are so scared to just try anything. They somebody said, if you make 213 decisions and 197 of them are right? But the other ones are wrong. It was much better than making 3 good decisions, because so often we get caught up and we don't want to make the mistake. Well, you learn if you make the mistake. If you don't learn, then you're a moron, right? But if you do learn and you're able to grow. So yeah, growing businesses, building is always an amazing thing. So we'll jump over to the family side of things, because you said you got married. Now, how long have you been married?
Yeah, so I met my wife actually right before we started Spectre.
Okay.
So February, March of 2022.
Okay.
We got married in 2023, and we just had a baby boy named Liam in May of 2025.
That's awesome.
So things are busy.
When I remember when my kids were born, what was it for you when you saw the baby, actually you held your son for the first time? What was that
Yeah,
experience like?
it was awesome. It was
Yeah.
fantastic. It's been something that I've been wanting since I was like 22, 23. Like I
Oh,
always
okay.
wanted to be a really young father. My dad had me at 40. And
Okay.
so when I got, to the age of 10 to 15 and wanting to wrestle and, play around and do sports, my dad just physically couldn't do it anymore.
Right.
He had a short window.
Yep.
And so I always wanted to have a young family so that I could do those things. I always had a goal of beating my father. So I had my son at 36 years old.
Yep.
So I win.
4
So I
years.
get 4 more years back.
There you go.
And now it's just a matter of me keeping my body physically fit. Swimming
sure.
kind of destroyed my shoulders and stuff like that. But yeah, it's been a lot of great. It's been amazing. It's being a dad has been, it's everything I've always wanted. I love coming home and he recognizes me and he wants to cuddle and he wants to be held by me and all that kind of stuff. So it's awesome. I love it.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, it's fun.
So you said you met your wife in 22
Yeah.
and married in 23.
Yeah.
What? How did that come about so quick? Like hey, let's do this thing.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity.
So we got introduced. So Jason introduced me to a friend of his.
Yep.
Who also golfed with us during COVID.
Yep.
And that gentleman named Rob, he was the supervision partner of my wife at Vistaprint.
Oh, okay.
So when he got to know me and one of the other gentlemen that worked there got to know me, they were like, you really should meet Sam.
Yeah.
And it was, they tried to set up a little golf date, but they didn't tell us it was a golf date. So I bailed because I had a client meeting. And so they were like, well, you would have met her had you come. And I'm like, I would have come if you told me.
Right.
But you just told me we were golfing and it wasn't important versus the client meeting. Maybe I would have pushed the client meeting a little bit.
Sure.
And so after like months of this, like trying to set something up, I was just like, dude, just ask her if I can have her number. Like, if you guys really want us to meet, just ask. It's fine. If she says yes, she says yes.
Right.
So she did say yes. We set up a date. Yeah, we had a great time. Went to Johnny Shots, just had a drink.
Yep.
Got to know each other a little bit. And then the next day I went to Florida for about a week. We just didn't really stop talking. I came back. I was really busy for the week. I came back, but we had another date the next weekend. And yeah, I think we were both just really in a position where we both knew what we wanted. We both knew what we wanted out of life. We both knew the direction we wanted to go. We really had the same beliefs around, the really important things, family and, morality and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So yeah, we I don't know, we dated for March, April, May, June, July, moved in together in August. And then, I planned a little, my Christmas gift to her was a vacation to Iceland.
Okay. Oh, wow.
So I forced her to book some time off, and we went to Iceland, and I proposed in Iceland, and we started having conversations in Iceland at the end of the trip about what maybe this wedding would look like. And my parents were already coming into town in June. So we went to Iceland February 10th through the 20th.
Okay.
And we planned a wedding in like 107 days or something crazy. So we got married June 10th of 2023.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, my family was already coming into town. They wanted to visit.
Yep.
So yeah, we just kind of were like, if we're gonna do it, we're
gonna
gonna
see
do
when
it.
you come
Let's
to town
go.
that you didn't know about. It's new and cool.
Yeah.
My
So yeah.
That's awesome,
so
man.
yeah, it just all happened really fast. I mean, we were both, some people say maybe we jumped into things a little too fast, but I think any relationship, you're gonna have you're gonna have issues and challenges and things that have to be discussed, and communication challenges, and one person thinks what you're thinking is something else. And like, it's just, it's people, we're humans.
That's it.
Right. So, but we're both very committed to learning and growing and our family and ourselves. And so, yeah, we got into this, and we had the Iceland trip. And then, so actually in September of 22, we went to Alberta to visit my family. And then I went back into Alberta at Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went to Iceland and then our wedding. And so there was a lot that happened.
Just busy.
All in like 8 months.
Yep.
And so we postponed our honeymoon until the summer of 24.
Okay.
We did a couple different places in Europe.
Nice.
And ended up coming back pregnant. So, yeah.
So I only laugh about the speed of things because I met my wife in October, married her in May.
Oh, nice.
And the same thing though. So we went on our honeymoon. We did go right after, and my daughter was conceived on that honeymoon. So
yep. Yeah, you never know. Things happen.
Hey, you know, there's a purpose to the plan.
When things happen, they happen.
But,
Yeah, I'm a big. Some people will say I'm a big sort of like reactionary person.
Sure.
I'll figure it out. You know, if there's an issue or there's a problem or there's a challenge, I'll just figure it out. So for us, you know, we were just really enjoying ourselves and we had a great time. And
that's awesome.
You know, we weren't really worried. We were going to do our honeymoon and come back and have a conversation about, are we having when are we going to start having a family? When are we going to start trying? And it just happened anyways. And, it's been nothing but great. The
awesome.
Pregnancy for us wasn't great. We had some issues, but all's good. She's healthy now, and he's healthy, and that's really all that matters. So
from an impulsive person who makes decisions like I did, we've been married for 17 and a half years, so I think you'll be just fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, listen, again, communication, talking about stuff, you're always going to have different opinions, different things like that. But yeah, personal life has been, it's been fun. It's been great. The little guy is just, he's a ball of energy.
Yeah.
He's kind of a FOMO baby, so he just is super aware of everything that's going on and doesn't want to miss out and doesn't want to sleep and just wants to be involved in everything. And it's just, he's a lot to handle.
Yeah.
We're not sleeping right now because he's starting to teeth, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Is there any last thoughts for the audience? Any story that you wanted to go back over or something from the business side of things? If you're talking to somebody, you know, they're at that stage of life, they're young, they're not sure what to do. Like you had swimming and then you kind of went into the financial services. You weren't really sure. It all came about from that meeting randomly.
Yeah. I guess I'd have a few things. I would say one, it's okay to try new things. I think a lot of people go to university, think they have to go right from university to get a job and it's okay to try new things. It's okay to move a job around or travel a little bit and experience things because you're never going to know just how good you have it until you've experienced something different.
Right.
So that would be one. The second one I would say that I learned sort of in my depression phase for about a year or so after my retirement from swimming. I got in this funk where I didn't really want to put in more effort into call it life, not from a suicidal perspective.
Sure.
But just like, I had this goal from 7 years old or 6 years old to be an Olympian. I worked my ass off for 20 some odd years to do it.
Yeah.
And I didn't get there. I didn't achieve the thing I wanted to achieve. And so my brain was stuck in this place of like, well, if it's not a guarantee that it's going to happen, why would I put in the effort?
Oh, okay.
And so I got stuck in this, like, there's no point in trying if I'm going to fail.
Right.
But the problem is that life passes by anyways. And so you're going to have to put in effort somewhere.
Right.
Right. Even going home and sitting on the couch and eating a bag of potato chips and feeling sorry for yourself is still effort doing something.
Right.
Right. And so I got taught that success and achievement are two different things. You can succeed at something and still not achieve the thing that you wanted to achieve.
Right.
And once I learned that lesson, it was really just a matter of like, okay, well, the time's going to pass by anyways. I might as well put effort in somewhere. I mean, why would I want to just be single sitting on the couch doing nothing for the rest of my life? That seems like a pretty boring life.
Right.
So it took me a while to kind of pick myself up. But yeah, you got to try a lot of different things. You're going to fail. It's a way of life. If you're not failing at something, you're not trying, to be honest.
Yep.
You're not learning, you're not growing. And so, yeah, I wouldn't say that every day I try to fail, but if I fail, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, obviously you're trying to win more days than you do lose.
Yep.
But yeah, there's lots of lessons to be taken from anything. But I would tell people to like, just keep going, because you just never know. I've had lots of conversations with friends, even just around like meeting your significant other. Right. Like, so many people are like, well, I'm 29 years old and I still haven't met that person. And I'm like, you're 29 years old. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, I was 33.
Yeah.
Right. And, I had just met her, but it happened fast. And, you know, when you're in the right place, good things will happen.
Yeah.
Right. But, you know, you got to take care of yourself. You got to be happy. You got to do the things that kind of stir your soul and make you excited for life. And when you're in a place where you're excited about life and excited about what's going on, you know, whether it's, you know, vibrations or your brain or the you know, the concept of the secret, whatever, your body will find ways to attract things that you want to have in your life.
Right.
But you have to be on a good, positive, upbeat vibration to even attract to those things.
People like people who are like-minded. Like, we want to be around people who, so if you want somebody who's upbeat, caring, wants to be out and enjoy life and do all these cool things, then you should probably be that person too.
Right. How are you going to find that fun, upbeat person that wants to go to bars when you're sitting at home? Right. If you want to find that person, you need to be the fun, upbeat person that's going out, going to bars, having a good time, talking to people, you know, the center of attention, enjoying yourself no matter who you're around. And that other person will find you because that you are going to be the catalyst in the room.
Yeah, just put yourself out there, guys.
Put yourself in a position to win, right? I find a lot of people want to win, but they don't want to start the race.
Right.
So you got to kind of put yourself in a position to win. And yeah, it's kind of where I've tried to sort of, I guess, you know, keep my attention. Yeah. You know, I wouldn't say I have a ton of friends. I'm just too busy with my family and building a business. And I got taught early on that, you know, most people should try to build a life that they don't want a vacation from. Right. And so I could have the worst day, I could have the best day, doesn't matter. I love what I do. It doesn't feel like work. Building this business doesn't feel like work. I enjoy every single minute of it, whether it's a good day or a bad day. And so I'm really fortunate in that sense that I got taught a lot of these things, but I just think a lot of the younger generation could learn. They could learn that you're not going to win every day, you know, and some days will be harder than others. But if you're putting yourself in a position to win and you're doing something you love, it will come. You know, you'll meet the right person, that business will explode, you will make the money you want to make, but you just have to put in the time.
Just got to put in the time, Sean. Well, it's been awesome having you on, Sean. Thank you so much for giving us a preview of your life, an overview. Yeah. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching other Real Stories. You can catch up with us on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. Again, if you want to be on, come hang out and have a conversation with me. I'd love it. Sean, thank you so much for being on today.
No problem. Anytime, Jordan.